Hi, I'm Gavin Lynch, racing enthusiast, formerly at the Racing Post, now at my own website, gavinlynchracing.com. There's actually 5 children in our family, so I'm the second youngest, and there's only 2 of us that are into horse racing. The other 3 have never even heard of Istabrack. From a young age, I was brought racing every Saturday from about the age of 6. There was no Sunday racing then. There was no pictures on TV. If you wanted to see racing, you had to go racing. So Saturday, whether it be Navan, Ferryhouse, Naas, etc. I was born in 72, so say 1980. I remember going to Navan race courses and there would be a massive crowd, and it'd just be an ordinary meeting. It wouldn't even be Tri-Town Day, it'd just be a normal Saturday, and there'd be huge crowds. So yeah, we used to go a lot. Me and my dad were very close, so that's where I got my interest in it. Dad actually trained a few horses. He trained a horse to be 3rd in the Triumph Hurdle one time, Crown Diamond. And he also picked out a horse in the sales one time, Route Supreme, that my brother owned with two friends, and he went on to win at Cheltenham. So I suppose we've just always been into it, really.
Forget on the near side, wayward lad on the far side.
I'd say Don Rowan winning the Gold Cup in Cheltenham. I remember that definitely, because, you know, Ireland back in the 80s wasn't a rich country at all. It was a poor country, so we used to have to sell. If you got 100 grand for a horse back then, it was a fortune, and they used to sell them. So we never won very many races at Cheltenham back then. But for Dawn Run to won the biggest race of the year was just, and the way she won it was crazy.
She's made it! Dawn Run has won it!
Cheltenham was just huge in Ireland, yeah.
Dawn Run has won it from wayward lad!
Like, it's hard to judge how big it is in England. It's huge, but in Ireland it's massive. People talk about it as much as they would about Liverpool or about Gaelic football or anything. That like, somebody would sooner win a race at Cheltenham with less prize money than win a big race in the flat or something, you know, for $500,000. The prestige of winning at Cheltenham or having a runner at Cheltenham is huge, yeah. Back in my dad's day, my dad would have been a decent gambler, we'll say, but I suppose punters had no chance back then because there was no internet. Now, I wasn't a good punter in my 20s at all, and the internet was kind of starting, say, at that stage. And if you're going racing, and obviously you love watching the horses, etc., and you get to know the names and the personalities and the jockeys and everything else. And I suppose if everybody is betting on them, you end up betting on them yourself. And then when you go to college or university, your friends are doing it, and then you're having a few bets. And then, I don't know, it just turned, I got a little bit better. And then when I won a few quid over a few months, it's amazing the way your confidence can grow a little bit. And then when I did, and I kept a record of it, I said, you know what, I need to give this a proper go. And then, I can't remember how many years ago, I started working with the Racing Post, doing spotlights and so on. And then it really made it up my game again, just to try and spend. I think if you spend enough time at something, you should be okay at it, you know.
Yes, welcome along to the 20th and final episode of Up in the Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch.
Up in the Ante was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Could talk about Cheltenham all day. If my kids were into it, I could chat at dinner, but they're not.
It's a win for Mr. Gavin Lynch.
But now I just wanted to do something different. I've turned 50 recently, so maybe I just wanted to try something. And I think that, you know, the huge amount of punters lose money. I would just love to see maybe a few punters, more punters winning, to be honest. Hi, welcome along to Gavin Lynch Racing. It's the weekend preview on Friday evening. An average day in the morning time, my efficiency in the morning would be really good. So if I get up and I have the kids to the bus at 7:45, I will come back and I'd be at my desk at 8 o'clock upstairs, and I would be really hyper efficient for a number of hours, and I'd be able to look at videos from yesterday, the day before, catch up, do all that groundwork, then look at today, look at the prices. Now, I would have studied that day's racing before now, but you know, and you look through the prices, etc., and then you decide on your bets, and then try and watch the racing in the afternoon. But if I do a meeting in 45 minutes, I have to take a break for 5 or 10 minutes just to refresh yourself, do a few bits, go for a walk, go downstairs, get a glass of water, talk to somebody about a horse or the latest news or Twitter or something. I'm going to ring Andy Holding. I chat to him once a month, and every time I ring him or he rings me, he says the same thing to me every time. Hopefully he says it again. Here we go, you ready? Loudspeaker here. Now, he mightn't answer it because it's 10 to 3 on the Friday and there's racing on. There's race on in Cheltenham in 5 minutes. Watch what he says every time, watch.
Hi, you big bollocks.
Right, yeah, big bollocks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, I'm alright. Having a turn around.
I'd say you're either in Cheltenham or you're playing golf.
And you were right first time.
You're in Cheltenham.
Cheltenham.
Can I tell you, you're on a recording for oddschecker at the moment. And I said to the boys here that you'd answer the phone. Go on, you big bollocks, yeah. So say hello to the lads from oddschecker.
You've got your first bet up anyway. That's your nap on a day landing.
We're doing the same as you did before, a day in the life of. So they started with the tops and then they moved down a bit.
Well, there's got to be a game of golf in there somewhere, isn't there?
There has to be, yeah.
How's your service going?
Yeah, good, yeah, delighted, yeah, going well.
I'm pleased for you now, because you deserve a bit of support off that.
I see you signed up the other day. He didn't. The only thing is, I put out my tips at 11, yours go out at 9, so you'll have to wait till the following day.
Dog eat dog will.
I'll just copy your tips.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
I suppose when I was younger, it would have been just sport. Football, as you'd say. Gaelic football, I wasn't very good at it, but I played a bit of it. So we're in Screen Parish here in County Meath. So Meath is a big Gaelic football county, and Screen. There was 3 adult teams back in the day for men, and of course I was on the 3rd team because it wasn't much good. There was one year I thought I was doing okay, and then so after a few games I said to the manager, "How come I'm on the 3rd team?" He said, "Because there's no 4th team." So that was me confidence gone forever. Right, one shot. Are you ready? I see. That's why I was on the 3rd team. Hit the post. Yeah, Gaelic football's massive, especially here in Meath. We've won the All-Ireland 7 times. This is Screen GFC, our local club. And over the last 100 years, Screen have had the best 2 Gaelic footballers ever for Meath, and that was Colin O'Rourke and Trevor Giles. Now, if you ever want to get a row going, one of the pubs here, start a debate about which one is the best. I'd say 80% would probably say Trevor and 20% might say Colin, but I think I'd have to go for Colin, to be honest with you. Hey Gavin, Trevor, how are you? Any tips? Trevor Giles, one of the greatest Gaelic footballers of all time, the Kevin De Bruyne in his day. Back in 1996 in the All-Ireland final, Meath were losing 9-3, and Trevor had a penalty in front of 80,000 people. He went there. Yeah, same as usual. Now don't let it in like I let yours in, right? Jeez, I think I pulled a muscle. I had a knee operation, so now I do a bit of cycling the last 3 or 4 years. Watch this, you can pick your different worlds. So you want to go to Utopia, New York, or whatever. I'm starting on a hill. But you see the people cycling past you, look. But it's actually good, like it's very realistic. See there, that's going up a hill. See the way it's 8%. So you have to change gears. And golf, so those 2 really. It was a little bit thin, just to tell you. You get lucky every day. Come on, picture. Come on, son. Here we go. Live racing. Oh, Foban. He's a great horse. Don't do that. I backed 2 yesterday, actually. Usually you never get the chance to back the day before, but with the bigger meetings, I suppose you can do. So I had a little bet yesterday on Hebrisco at 5-2. I think he's gone off a bit shorter, which wouldn't exactly excite me, but sure, it's no harm. Price is a funny thing. Racing keeps changing and changing and changing all the time. You know, the advent of exchanges and so on, and then morning prices, and then betting the night before. Like, I used to be definitely a morning price thief. 9 o'clock, bang, I'd be at a shop. This horse is 4-1, get on, 4-1 each way, bang, horse goes off 5-2. And sure, even if it was second, you got your money back and you were kind of right because the horse wasn't a 4-1 shot, it was a 5-2 shot. So I was doing that for years. And then the bookies got too clever and it was harder to get on and so on. So here we go. They're halfway round here in the 2 mile 5, and Hebrisco's in 4th, say, on the inside, and the Richie colours. You probably wouldn't be swapping at the minute. The front 3 look like it's between them. The rest are slightly under pressure. You would say the leader probably travels a dot better at this stage. Winners in front. Hermes Allen bolts up by 10. I backed Hey Johnny here each way. Handicap hurdle over 2 mile. Was keen the last in Clonmel. Ran well in a handicap in Punchtown before that, but the last day won well in Clonmel, but was very keen. I'm just hoping today it's less keen.
Racing. Best of luck here in the last.
And you batted each way, yeah?
I did. 5 places actually. But it was.
Oh, hey, Johnny is in desperate trouble. His rider's trying to stay with him, but he's gone at the first. Unseating rider.
Oh dear. Right, so we start that all again then. That didn't last long. That's like years ago in the Sunday Independent, the day after the Grand National at Cheltenham. They used to get a quote from all 40 jockeys. And John Cullen gave a quote one day where he said, "I was travelling unbelievably well till I fell at the first." I think if you keep a profit and loss account all the time, that'll give you some basics as to how you're going or what you're doing. And you will get trends over time. Like I noticed that over years that August and September were never really good for me. So as soon as the bumper on the Sunday of Galway was over, I would lower my bets for August and September. If you're on a bad run, again, if you're keeping a P&L and you're winning a few quid, and then you've lost a bit, it's not the end of the world because you're still in front. If you win 8, 9 months of the year and you've had a bad run where you've lost in, say, in February or something, you will turn if you've got a history of it, or you can prove to yourself. Myself and Anne-Marie are together 20 years, and from day one when we started living together, I always kept a diary in the kitchen so she could see how I was doing, or that I wasn't losing all our money. So I try and keep the emotions out of it a little bit, but I would still get excited in a finish, particularly if it's the Cheltenham race and so on. But I don't think Anne-Marie would notice too often if I've won or lost in a day, or I don't really talk about racing. I could watch a race and if it's over and then just forget about it,
Would you have a bet running?
Not only ever in the first half of the race. You can't bet in the last half of a race because you're always 5 seconds behind. Because it doesn't matter as much in the first half of the race, there's less happening. Things change very quickly in the last half of the race, whereas in the first half of the race they don't change as much. Good finish. 2 Irish horses. Contraposto. Hey Johnny would have bet them. I would always look back at a meeting, so let's say today was a Wednesday and there was a race meeting on Monday. I would always look back at that and look at the replays of them. To do a meeting properly would take probably 45 minutes to look back at it properly and make maybe a few notes, or even just to refresh your memory. Because if you're watching a race, particularly if you have a bet, you would try and keep the emotions out of it a little bit. Now you have to enjoy it and it's a bit of fun, it's not the Olympics or anything, you're trying to enjoy it, but I think that if you look back at a meeting a day or two later, even if you've been beaten a short head for a few quid, you'll still watch it properly and remember it properly. And then to study a card that's coming up, that would take probably a couple of hours, yeah. I should have said it earlier, it was one of the biggest changes in my punting career was I did a bookie for a year, because back in those days, punters lost, bookies won, easy peasy, sure, you just show up and you win your money. I did it for a year and I think I won 5 grand. No use. And it made me think, I remember the first day I stood up as a bookie in Thurles, and I almost felt like somebody was going to come around and whisper to me, "Yeah, number 5 wins here." I thought it was kind of half fixed or something, And people have this perception that racing is fixed, which is not true. There's too much money involved. So being a bookie for a year, it showed to me that bookieing wasn't as easy as it was made out to be. And that as a punter, especially with the internet, if you did enough study, you could beat the bookies. And it was actually great to see the other side of the fence and then come back again. It's my desk, yeah. Like everybody, it's not just racing, you have other stuff to do in life as well. So yeah, should you be on your computer a lot from whatever, 8 in the morning right through till the afternoon, yeah. And then you might have to go here, there and everywhere and pick up kids and drop them. But yeah, mostly here, yeah.
If you're speaking to someone now who's never punted, and there was one thing that you could give them, one piece of advice, one sort of golden rule.
Never put yourself under pressure financially, like that's just sacrosanct. Keep it fun, as we said. I love doing certain bets. I would love doing an each way double. If I get a 7-2 and a 5-1 shot, if you get a 7-2 shot in a maiden hurdle, there's probably only 3 that can win it. There might be an even money shot in the race, but the 7-2 shot in your head is nailed on to be in the first 3, has a decent chance, and the 5-1 shot could be the handicap. That's got a very strong each way chance. I love doing each way doubles. As regards other pointers, don't be backing 9 and 10 year olds. Don't be backing horses who are like 2 from 30 or 2 from 40 or 3 from 50. I always try and stick to progressive horses that have a nice profile, so that in a year's time there's a good chance that they're a stone better than they are now. So horses that have had less runs, they're a younger age, they might have only run in a couple of handicaps. Do you know what I mean? That there's a chance that they're going to progress. But if you get an 8 or 9 or a 10-year-old who's, as I said, 2 from 30, I know there might have been an eye catch the last day, but the chances are I probably wouldn't back it. I've no problem doing multiples, I've no problem backing favourites, I've no problem backing 10 to 1 shots. I think that if I really fancied one that was 6 to 4, I'd have this much on it. But if I fancied a horse that was, I thought, a 5 or 6 to 1 shot and was 10 to 1, I would have more on the 10 to 1 shot than I'd have on the 6 to 4 shot. I totally disagree with people that say back horses to win, say 100 quid or 200 quid or 1,000 quid, whatever. I think that's crazy. You have to have the odd great day. And if that's a multiple or it's a bigger priced one where you took a chance, I think it's worth taking that chance.
Hello? Yeah. That's 2. Oh, we're going well, son. Going very well.
6 videos a week. So Tuesday is a Cheltenham preview. Wednesday is eye catchers of the week, or horses that caught your eye. Same thing. Thursday usually would be if there's a meeting on. Friday is a weekend preview. And then Saturday and Sunday is a daily preview each morning. Do you know it? Yeah. Maybe mention a tip or two. So it goes from now to the end of March. It's a handy place to do it, isn't it? Yeah. I only had this for the last, well, this was a kind of a mess room or a spare bedroom a few months ago. I always find that if I ever get lazy studying, I definitely notice a difference in the profit at the end of a month or something. Camera, video. Does this go all the way out for a side one? I actually don't mind losing money myself. I never really do. It plays me mind maybe the odd time that if I gave a tip and it gets beat, as I said, I don't mind if I lose money, but just if somebody else did, it's a bit, yeah.
So I just went through Cheltenham
What
Saturday,
is going on?
Sunday.
I'd probably be doing this work anyway for myself, so I just thought I might as well do it and share it with people, yeah. Hi, welcome along to Gavin Lynch Racing. It's the weekend preview on Friday evening with myself and my new pal, Ryan. How are you, Ryan?
Yeah, we're new.
Well, we were pals anyway.
New pal.
Yeah, well, newish.
Right.
Getting better pals.
Yeah.
I've known Ryan a little bit, and then I was looking for somebody to help me out because it's too boring on your own, so I needed somebody maybe the Cheltenham one on a Tuesday and the weekend preview just for a bit of banter and a bit of interaction, and I wanted somebody with a good opinion. I met Ryan at the races a few months ago, and we only kind of knew each other, and I just was chatting to him, and I said, "You're the fella." And he goes, "What do you mean I'm the fella?" I said, "You're the fella." I said, "I need a fella to help me out with, I'm doing my own website." And I said, "You'd be perfect." He goes, "Oh, okay, right." So we started chatting, and yeah, that was it. And now on to Nace tomorrow.
Are you sponsoring another race?
Sure,
Another race?
yeah. Sure, look, you have to
one a
do
week
a bit.
these days, isn't it?
You have to give a bit back, Ryan.
Fair play, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder when we get the Ryan McHugh handicap hurdle.
Yeah, well, that's when you do your next commentary, your copy, your next copy of Jerry Hannon.
Right, okay.
Lads, how are you doing? We're here in one of the 3 pubs on screen. There's a picture I have to show you. You have to see this. Paul Carberry on Haydock. Just look at that picture, lads. Look where he is on the horse. Unbelievable. Like nobody's ever ridden that short before. He must have the balance of a ballet dancer. If somebody could just tell me, how did he ride so short?
Well, I suppose I could probably tell you if you really need it.
Sorry, we're actually filming here. Do you mind? Yeah. Some people. Oh. Joined here by the great PC. Only having a laugh. How are you, Paul?
Very good, Gavin. How are things?
An amazing picture, Paul. Incredible. Just to tell you, the best ride I ever saw at Cheltenham was by this man on a horse called Belvano in the Grand Annual. If you ever get a chance to have a look at it, please do. Tell me about Belvano that day and what you told me earlier.
Well, I was told, I met Mr. Mickey Henderson on the Tuesday, and he says, I have a ride for you in the Grand Annual on Friday. He says, the other lads can't ride him, right? He says, you seem to be the man to ride him.
Just to say, this horse had to be held up for the last minute, you know.
Had to be held up, and so I told him, it says, "Grand, sure, look, the boys can't hold him up." They said, they go too soon. He says, "Well, I let on that I have another lap to go when it's into the straight." He says, "Grand, you'll win on him." So, and
so you caught the horse into thinking there was another circle to go.
Yeah. And he wanted to go. I said, "No, just wait and keep taking him."
If you get a chance, please go and look. Even if you look at the second half of the race, from the top of the hill to the line, you won't believe. When you're watching it, you won't believe where Belvano is. He's 15 lengths off the leaders coming down the hill. So the Genius PC.
Straight back in fourth is King Edmund, followed by Tara Royal. Then staying on is Belvano. Then De Boitron tanks for that. Over the second from home. Cumbeshwa hit it hard. Tara Royal hit it hard. And they've got a furlong and a half to go. One more fence to take. Tanks for that for Nicky Henderson and Barry Geraghty at the last. And they're over clear by 3 lengths. Stablemate Belvano staying on in second. Cumbeshwa is back in third. And Quetta and then King Edmund. They've got 150 yards to go. It will go to Nicky Henderson, but which horse will it be? It will be Belvano, who gives Nicky Henderson a record 7th winner at the festival.
We are going to Naas Racecourse, that's why I have a jacket on and a fancy white shirt. Yeah, sponsoring the 315, so yeah. I actually don't go racing much, really, to be honest with you. I used to go racing a huge amount when I was younger. But I just find that if you go racing, you can get sidetracked a little bit with people's opinions, and you get a tip for this and a tip for that, and Woolies in the bumper, and all these things. So I prefer just to stick to myself, instead of being sidelined. And also, you can look at it. It's good to go racing. It's good fun. I'm not saying not to go racing, but it's also good at home that you can get to see the head-ons and things like that, And you get to see interviews as well, Yeah, I've sponsored a few races in the last couple of months to promote the website. So, yeah, you go there and we might have a chat with the MC at the track beforehand or afterwards. And then, do the presentation, and hopefully the commentator mentions the name of the race. Right horse, isn't he? Oh, he is a right horse. Jerry is a good man for giving a race title a couple of mentions, so it's nice to have Jerry. There they are there, yeah, far side.
Please sign up today to GavinLynchRacing.com of the Handicap Chase as they make tracks to a difficult decision.
Go on, happy dreams! Go on, happy dreams!
Runs down Clonbury Bridge.
Thank you. I hope it makes more sense now. Well done. Patrick, how are you? Great. Thanks, Patrick.
So we're here at the unique Laytown Racecourse in County Meath. They have a meeting here once a year, and as you can see, it's run on the beach. I remember when I was a young lad, obviously they have to have the first race at like 3 or 4 o'clock because the tide goes out. But I remember as a young lad, the 1.5 mile race starting here, down to the end and back. But I think 1 or 2 horses slipped over. So they changed it now that it's just a straight 6 and 7 furlongs, I think so. Look, it's a fantastic place. We're about a furlong from the finish here, a bit less, maybe a half a furlong out. So this is actually where they race, yeah. As you can see, the ground is good to sand in places. I was reading earlier that actually they're racing here now for 150 years, believe it or not. So I don't think there's too many places like this in the world to have a race meeting. If you get a chance, definitely come along. There's only one meeting a year. And this is where we started the Coast to Curragh cycle that we've done for the last couple of years. My mother passed away 11 years ago from pancreatic cancer, and then Pat Smullen got sick with the same illness or disease. And so I obviously then was following his story very closely. And then Pat passed away a couple of years back. I didn't get to go to the Curragh the day of his race, and I did donate, but I just said to myself, I'd love to do something. And then just one morning in bed, I had Google Maps out, and I was wondering about going from here to there and maybe cycle to a few courses. I'd actually seen, is it Niall Hannity and somebody else cycling around Yorkshire, and I thought, yeah, maybe you could do something similar. So we thought of the idea and we set it up, and we've done it for 2 years. So we started in Laytown and ended up in the Curragh, so we call it Coast to Curragh, basic alliteration. And so in 2 years, we've raised 350 grand. And this year actually, after the first year went so well, the Curragh contacted me last January to say that they'd like to make it Cancer Trials Ireland Race Day in memory of Pat Smullen. So the cycle has now got bigger and bigger. So AP McCoy came over this year, which was great. We've a lovely shot of him here with plenty of cyclists. And it's a long way from here to the Curragh, but thankfully we got there and we raised a few quid. So, but brilliant day. We've plenty of racing celebrities take part. As I said, AP McCoy, Barry Geraghty, loads of the lads took part, and Rachel Blackmore the previous year. And we've raised a good few quid for a fantastic charity that's close to everybody's heart. And yeah, so it's turned out to be a fantastic day, thankfully. Yeah, I think if you're gonna take money out of your pocket and bet, you have to be very specific and just try and become as knowledgeable as you can on one thing, and see if there's an angle that maybe you've seen that somebody else hasn't seen, or just you're just building up your knowledge. You can't be knowledgeable enough on that many sports. You know, I could talk to me and you could have a chat all day about Man City and Liverpool, but I couldn't make money on betting on football. I just couldn't. So I like Irish racing, a little bit of English racing, and Cheltenham.
It just popped up on my phone. It's worked out like that since this minute. You have an English bet? Yes. Golf. How come you don't ask for me to talk about golf or cricket or snooker?
Right, well, we're going to change tack today. Welcome to Golf Weekly, Gavin Lynch.
I think if I can get a couple of horses, say in the Arkle at 10 to 1 and 12 to 1, just as an example, and they were 3 to 1 and 4 to 1, the chances are then I shouldn't lose on the Arkle, even if they don't win. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're laying them on the exchanges at 3 to 1 and 4 to 1, combined that's like 5 to 4. So whatever you've laid out on those horses, you could take some of that or all of that back. It depends how, say, greedy you want to be. But so I think if you're on the right side of the prices, you should be able to balance it. So be specific is one. Secondly is you know, keep it fun and don't let it affect your humour that you're you know, getting in bad form if you're losing money. So you have to keep bet small, keep it fun. And really important is to keep a profit and loss account either on a spreadsheet or in a diary. And if after a year or two you've won a couple of grand this year and you won 3 grand the next year, but then you prove to yourself that maybe you could bet a little bit heavier if you want to or not. I mean, it depends on what your ambitions are. And but you know, punting is a very individual thing, and so I think you have to prove to yourself that you can back horses or whatever and make a few quid. So I think that's really important.